Imu, the man who lived during the Void Century, just revealed Elbaf is D. What does this mean exactly? I have no idea, but with the legendary Delph fruit that Loki ate, making him capable of killing not just a Holy Knight, arguably the strongest Holy Knight of all time, causing major damage to Imu himself. Elbaf also has the missing Galley Law that Zebek wanted so badly, and the insane ancient giant power that runs through both Herald and Loki's blood. And we can't forget about the mural that showcases the Harley text from the first world and the second world, which is the Void Century, and the third world, which is currently ongoing. I am not surprised that the origin of the D is Elbaf, and with theories of Joy Boy being an ancient giant, which I'll explain later in full details later in the video, Oda obviously wants us to uncover something huge on this island. I didn't even mention Jaguar D Saul being a Will of D giant member. That is the only giant that's a Will of D member. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to the channel. So if you're going to talk about the Will of D, you gotta start with Monkey D family. And the reason why I say this is because I remember Dr. Korea mentioning that Luffy had the same initial of Gold D Roger. By the time we all looked at it as Gold Roger, but she changed it from Gold D Roger and starting the meme of Mad Monk or Rouge being a Will of D member and just like Eustace Kid, like a lot of people were just taking the D letter and turning people into Will of D members. So that meme was because of Dr. Korea changing Gold D Roger's name from Gold Roger. Now I do gotta say this, the Monkey D family are a big deal. Monkey D Luffy right now is a current Yonko in the One Piece story, and he has a neat Cadell fruit. Monkey D Garp was the reason for the fall of an amped up Dami Reversi Rockets D Zebek, and you have to understand he was a rival to Goldie Roger the Pirate King. Then we also have Monkey D Dragon, the most wanted man in the One Piece world, and said to be incredibly powerful by Ivankov. And the fact that he's so wanted, he's a leader of the revolution. Look how strong Kuma, Ivankov, and Sabo are. And Dragon is stronger than all those guys. And Sabo is just strong with his arm and haki. It is advanced armor haki. So we know Dragon has insane haki, and haki transcends all. Shout out to Kaido. So the Monkey D family are legendary, they're powerful, and they are the Will of D. Now, if you look at another Will of D family that is insanely powerful, I think it's the Davy D family. The Davy D family, of course, is led by Davy D Jones. It is said that Imu was scared of only two people, Joy Boy and Davy D Jones. And then you look at Davy D Jones' ancestor, it was Rockets D Zebek, yes, or Davy D Zebek. He was the ancestor of Davy D Jones, and this guy was causing mayhem, yo. He killed an admiral 18 years before God Valley, clashed in the Kankazaki coding clash with ancient giant Herald, went at it with Garp, went at it with Roger, went at it, had Whitebeard, Kaido, Big Mom, Shiki, Ochoku, some monsters under him, not to mention even Captain John and Silver Axe. So this guy Rocks was legendary with his crazy fighting style with the sword and the destructive capability of it, the crushing fighting style. So that is someone that is insanely powerful in my personal opinion. We've seen him go at it with Herald again during the flashback, and he's just overall a strong character. Honestly, Rocks' era was before Roger's era, so you got to give him credit where credit's due. And then you have Davy D Teach, or Marshall D Teach, Blackbeard. Blackbeard is one of the strongest characters. He scarred Shanks while on guard. Think about that, guys. And then he got the Yami Yami no Mi, and he was almost able to break Ace's neck with one blow during their fight, and he defeated Ace, and then of course became a warlord, went to Up and Down, got an insane crew, and then of course got Whitebeard's Delph fruit, the Gurgur no Mi, the only man in history to have two Delph fruits. And I trust the Gorsei because they're from the Void Century, so I trust their word. And then of course what he's done post time skip, you know, he pretty much defeated Marco, he defeated Ochoku, some strong figures, and now he just defeated Trafalgar Law, another Will of D member. And right now he's on a path to fight Shanks, the strongest haki in the One Piece story currently, so who has Roger's moveset with Divine Departure. So we're expect to see even more Blackbeard gas to come, and he's a main pivotal figure at the end of One Piece story. So the Davy D family, they check out just like the Monkey D family when it comes to Will of D aura. Now, an underrated family in my personal opinion is the Gold D family. Of course, there's only two members I'm talking about, but gotta put respect where respect is due. The only man to reach Laftel was Gold D Roger, and he's the first person to reach Laftel since the first pirate Joy Boy. That's a big deal from the Void Century. He started the Great Pirate Era, of course, telling everyone to go for the One Piece treasure. And during his prime, when he had the straw hat on, Oh my god, the things he was doing. You saw him go toe to toe with Garb. You saw him go toe to toe with Rocks. You saw him go toe to toe with Whitebeard. You just saw him go ham. His wings have both Kankazaki coating and Scarper Gaban and Silver's Rayleigh. That's insane. The hockey mask that he did at the end of God Valley was so powerful. Then fighting Whitebeard for 3 days was insane. The Ed War versus Shiki. Like, he did some insane stuff. Had Kazuki Oden join his crew, another monster. I think Goldie Roger's aura is still intact. I think he's the most impactful character in the One Piece history. Yeah, more impactful than Joy Boy, Davy D. Jones, and those Void Century characters, because he started the Great Pirate Era, which is going to lead into Luffy, of course, defeating Enmu finally in the Third World. So I think Goldie Roger needs some respect on his name. Then you have Goldie Ace, or Porky's D. Ace, the son of Roger. Now, of course, Ace didn't get to live a full life, but we know he had insane haki. We know we had an insane Delphi in the Mary no Mi used by Sabo currently, and he was a part of Whitebeard's top division commanders when he wasn't even a pirate that long, guys. He was asked to be a warlord. He went 5 days against Jinbei. Jinbei's incredibly powerful, and of course in Marineford he had a pretty decent performance even though he was drained. I liked when he clashed without Aokiji in the ice. Of course, Akano did overpower him, but it's a freaking Akano, guys. But I think Porky's D. Ace is the reason why Akano killed him, and was trying to kill Luffy too, because what they were about to do, if Ace made it to like 40-30 years old, or even 2 more years like Luffy, yo, the things they were going to do in the New World, look how strong Crocodile became after 2 years. Anything can happen in the One Piece world. I think Ace, if he would have met Luffy at the Pirate Summit, and pretty much Ace would have inherited Whitebeard's crew, just the same way that Katakuri was inheriting Big Mom's crew, and he would have been a monster to be reckoned with in the New World. So the last family I want to talk about when it comes to the Willy D, of course, is the Nefertari D family. Now, they're not known for being incredibly powerful characters or monstrous aura, but they are a pretty new Willy D class. We found this out recently in Naked Island. Nefertari Cobra is a Willy D member, Nefertari Vivi's a Willy D member, and Nefertari Lily's a Willy D member. And Lily's the reason why the poneglyphs were spread out. She betrayed Enmu, was supposed to be one of the original the original kings that started the world's government, but she actually became a Willy D member. And that's why Enmu stares at a poster of Vivi, stares at the picture of Lily. Definitely, Lily is a major player in the Void Century, just like Joy Boy and Davy D. Jones. So I think that Nefertari D family is interesting, with Cobra, of course, dying, of course, and telling Sabo to spread the news that they are Willy D members. And Sabo, of course, knows the Willy D through Ace, Luffy, and whatnot. And then we also have to look at the fact that Vivi right now just put the X on Luffy's during the Big News Morgan's newspaper during the beginning of Elbaf. So that's Vivi calling for Luffy's help. Vivi's going to be a major player at the end of the story, because Enmu has his eyes on Vivi too as well. So I definitely am excited to see. And Vivi's always been a major player since Alabasta, the days where she's trying to overthrow the crocodiles, what he was doing to the kingdom and whatnot. So and the live action is about to show that right now when it comes to Vivi. I don't think they're going to go up to Alabasta yet, but it's going to be hype if they do the Alabasta arc, because that is prime One Piece, peak One Piece in my opinion. So yeah, Nefertari D family, new Willy D class, and they are important when it comes to the history of the Willy D. Now, to move on from families, there are some significant Willy D characters that will play a big part of the end of One Piece, and probably when the Void Century flashback happens, when we see their ancestors, Trafalgar D, Waterlaw. That is a special name right there. We do know that Law's flashback was centered around the Willy D when it comes to Corazon saying, of course, the D will bring a storm, and the D are the demons, like that was said. So, of course, we saw a lot of hype when it comes to Willy D and Law's flashback, and Oda, of course, revealing that Law was a Willy D member. You have to understand, Law being a Willy D member does give him more aura than any of Luffy's rivals, because he has that D initial. And don't forget, Rocks and Roger and Garp all had D initials, and it was their era back in the day. So Law can definitely have a prime comeback, and he did pretty well against Blackbeard. So I think Law and the Willy D aura, the aura is still intact with that D initial. And it does make me think, will Law be a player in the Elbaf arc? Because we know the origins of the D is Elbaf. Recently discovered, of course, during Egghead Island, Kalau D, Clover. This guy, of course, was O'Hara incident, trying to get information on the poneglyphs. And his brother died because of that Willy D initial, and honestly he died because of what he did on O'Hara, and Robin cares about him so much. But I think that his ancestor is probably gonna be an archaeologist as well, and it's probably gonna be connected to O'Hara and not what's that in the Void Century. So I do think there is hype to Clover's initial and the recent reveal. It just makes it crazy because how much Willoughby members are around the world. I'm starting to think there's at least 20 Willoughby members. The same, there's 20 kings that started the world government. I think there's 20 Willoughby members that went against those kings, and I can't wait to see Oda bring that out. Then there's Jaguar D Saul. Jaguar D Saul is a big deal because he's a giant. Let's keep it real. Elbaf's the origins of the D, and then you have Jaguar D Saul, the only Willoughby giant member. And Saul, of course, is connected to O'Hara with Cloud D Clover when it comes to that kind of stuff, and of course, keeping that intact. We saw him recently read the Harley text, or let Robin read it, in the library in Elbaf. But I think Saul is also a big character when it comes to what he did in O'Hara and what his ancestors probably did during the Ancient Kingdom War. So I think that him being his ancestors probably a major character alongside the ancient giant that we saw in the mural. So those two giants are going to be major players and Willoughby members, and who knows, maybe Joy Boy is a giant, who knows. Now there is some very like questionable Willoughby initials, like are they actually Willoughby members? Portgas D Rouge, we know that she probably is a Willoughby member, because why would Oda give her a D initial if she wasn't a D member? So I do think she is definitely something interesting to talk about. Maybe she has a sick ancestor during the Void Century. Maybe that ancestor had to do with I don't know, with Joy Boy, Davy D Jones, who knows, but that is something to talk about. And then of course you also have to look at Marshall D Teach, his mother. Maybe she's a Marshall D something, and that's why Rox chose her to, of course, bring her to the Davy clan. But those are all just theories. But right now, I think Portgas D Rouge is the only confirmed Willoughby member, and her Teach's mom is still questionable if she's a Willoughby or not. And then you got to talk about Joy Boy. Joy Boy was the first ever pirate in the One Piece world, and you have to understand, he doesn't have a D initial, but he's such a pivotal character when it comes to his Devil Fruit, his lineage, of course Nika, the Sangha Nika, Devil Fruit and whatnot, and all that stuff. Joy Boy returned. It's kind of like he was a leader of the Willoughby, and we know Davy D Zebek recently revealed, who are you more scared of, Joy Boy or Davy D Jones? So Imu definitely has a big fear of Joy Boy. We saw that when his haki knot was unleashed during Egghead Island. Then he could be a giant. We saw that huge straw hat that Imu was staring at. Like, there's so many different lore, and now that Elbaf is the original origin of the D, maybe Joy Boy is an Elbaf native. Maybe he is an ancient giant. I do think that he isn't, because I think he's going to be a Nika. But I do think that Elbaf respects him. I think he started the Willoughby clan in Elbaf because of the respect they have for him. And we've seen how they talk about the Sangha, Nika, and all that. Like, they've been doing that for a while now. Now, I do think there's a secret D initial that has to be revealed, and I think it's going to be Harold and Loki in the Ancient Giant blood race. We saw the Miro, we saw an Ancient Giant, then we saw the Serpent in the first world. I think that they are Willoughby members. It just hasn't been revealed. And I think Elbaf's the perfect place to reveal it because it's the origin of the D. So have Loki be a D would be insane. His full family name is the reason why they haven't revealed their full family name yet. So the hype is real, and that would make Kai Rudin also a D. So it's gonna be cool to see that D family get highlighted in Elbaf, and then maybe segue into that final arc in Laftel and then the flashback, the Void Century flashback. So there's a lot of cool stuff that Oda can definitely lead into with this original of the D, or the origins of the D being an Elbaf. And it just makes me as a fan more excited for Elbaf. We know there's the Heaven Realm. People talking about Mad Monk Rouge and Nell and how other players that could be definitely pivotal characters, Eustace Kid and Elbaf. But the Heaven Realm, the island itself, the Heaven Realm needs to be explored now. What is Elbaf to the Ancient Kingdom? That's going to be a big deal as well, leading to Laftel, Lodestar, and whatnot. And the mythology is going to be huge, guys. It's going to be insane. We're not going to see as much mythology since Fishman Island and Sky Pion. What I'm saying is that Elbaf is going to be insane when it comes to mythology, and it's going to definitely bring the lore of the One Piece story to another level. So yeah, the origins of the D being Elbaf revealed recently, and I had to make a video on it because why not? It's so important when it comes to One Piece lore